Hi everyone, Nicholas Lee here, and in section 2 of the anti-script closing system, I thought I'll give you a quick origin story of how I've created this system, but also my backstory as to how I got into sales. Should be quite quick, but I just thought I'll share with you kind of what qualifies me to teach you, and hopefully you get massive results, massive value from all of those training you're getting access to in school. So quickly, my background is actually chartered accountancy. In the US, it's called CPA, and I left a decently paying job back in 2018. I had already planned to leave because I didn't like what I was doing, and I just needed a visa to stay in the UK, which I got. But I wanted to go in business. I went in there with a kind of a plan, but within 3 to 4 months, I realized things wasn't going well. The main thing that wasn't going well was that I was just terrible at selling. I was horrible. I would get on sales calls. I would not even call them sales calls, I guess, because I was so scared to call them sales calls. So some of you here, I believe, are coming into this community because maybe you're nervous about sales calls. Maybe you don't feel you are a salesperson. Maybe you don't like to sell. You feel it's manipulative. I promise you guys, I was exactly where you are. I didn't want to ask for money. I didn't know what to ask. I was just bad, right? And I got lucky because I was online, and one person that I met at another training before, I saw he was doing well, speaking on stage. So I started helping him for free, and he became a business mentor to me, right? And at some point, I got the chance to do sales conversations for his clients. And within a couple of hours, I lost him £30,000, guys. So if you guys think you're bad in sales, if you guys think you're just not made for this, I can promise you, I was worse than you. I was a geeky accountant who had no idea how to speak to people. Right? I was just bad. So, wherever you are right now, I promise you, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Do what I say, take action. I will share with you how, right? So, but yeah, I lost 30,000 on that day, man. I just didn't want to look at him in the eye. I was so ashamed. I wanted the floor to really swallow me up at that point. But he was a good guy, and now he's a good friend of mine. But he took me under his wing. He started teaching me sales. I remember a lot of conversations we've had where I would have sales conversations. I would come back with objections, and he would teach me a lot of new things. He would give me questions to ask, ways to handle objections, and all of those things. And I got decently good, right? I was closing at his live events, meaning he would do like a 3-day events, or he would do like a 4-hour training, and at the end of it, we would sell someone into a £1,500 pound program, or like a year-long program, right? And I started closing deals: £6,000, £12,000, £15,000, 25, 40, and the biggest one was a £70,000 deal, which I closed with another friend of mine as well. But what was interesting is when I closed this massive deal, which to me was massive, right, back then, I also realized that I was still not that good in selling. Because at the same time, I had started to find ways to go outside of the live events. Because the problem with live events closing is that there's an event every 6 to 8 weeks, and it's very limited, the number of conversations or calls I could have. I could have maybe 5 conversations in a weekend, and if I'm good, I would close 3, 4 of them. And sometimes it's not even me. If the quality of the leads were not too good, I'll close 1, I'll close 0. So the money was not very consistent. So I went and kind of pursued my career in sales, going online and doing high ticket closing, which is a term you may have heard. Closing deals between $5,000 to $10,000 online. And this is where I realized I was actually really terrible at selling. I got there and I just couldn't close a deal. I didn't know where to go. And the main reason that was an issue was because at live events, my friend Jason James is so good at selling on stage that he would get people in the room to be in a state, in an emotional state, to want to buy, right? So then when they came and speak to me, a lot of the time, I was just going through the questions in a logical way. But because they were already emotionally in a heightened state to want to buy, to want to move forward, to want to work with us, it was easy to sell, right? I was just letting them choose the deal they wanted. And therefore, I was literally a money collector rather than a closer. So I had to learn in a really tough way, right? And the reason it's harder to close on the phone, on Zoom calls, is very often those people, like maybe you right now, you would have seen my ads about the school community, and you would have clicked on it, you would have joined it, maybe it was 1 a.m. in the evening, 2 a.m. in the morning, and you don't really know, you just know you've got some issues with selling, and then you just book the call, or you just join the school group without knowing why. And that's why many people joining the school group don't actually take action, because they don't even remember they're on the sales group. Now, imagine this. Someone is filling a form, wanting to learn about whatever thing the company I'm selling for is looking to do. And they come on the phone with me 2 or 3 days later. They already forgot the problem they have. They've already deleted the problems they have. So when they come to me, and I'm kind of using a very logical way of closing them, it doesn't go anywhere, because I need to get their emotions back higher up. And maybe that's an aha for you guys today. If you're looking to close people on the phone, you need to know how to get them in an emotional state, right, to close. And this is a learning I had, because on the day I closed that 70,000 deals, this is also when I realized I was terrible. So I invested tens of thousands of dollars in more sales training. I'm pretty sure I had like 4 different sales trainers that I've paid for. 6,000, 10,000, 15,000, all types, $23,000. I've paid my dues, guys, in terms of cost. I've also invested a lot of time to learn what I'm sharing with you. So you get that for free, by the way. So congratulations, you got to the right place. Now, what was interesting is all of those training I went through, they all gave me scripts. And I still struggle quite a bit with all of them. They all felt like I've shared in the previous training, they all felt they were not my own language. It wasn't my culture. It wasn't my personality. And I could feel the person at the other end of the phone feeling weird sometimes on my calls. But I did not know what was going wrong. Okay. More importantly, I did not know and I did not understand why I was asking the questions I was asking and what I was meant to get from them. Okay. And very often, as you may have potentially realized yourself, the scripts are so long that you need to have them in front of you to read them every single time. Now, let me ask you a question, guys. How can you be present with someone at the other end of a phone or on a Zoom call when you're trying to read what's on your script? Because think about it, selling, especially selling at that high level, right? $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, even on real life. You won't go in real life and bring your piece of paper and be like, oh, excuse me a second, let me just read my script and then I'll come back to you. No. You want to understand the principles of what you're looking to achieve at every phase of a conversation, a sales conversation, or a negotiation, so you can get the deal done. Otherwise, you may spend an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours on the call, which I've done, and nothing happens at the end. So you've just wasted your time, you've wasted their time, and nothing has happened from it, right? And this is why I had to think of a way to allow me to have sales conversations without needing scripts. And one thing I do and I teach as well, and I've been doing for a long time now, is speak on stage. So if I speak on stage, I can't have, words walking around for me to read. I need to learn strategies, frameworks that allow me to be like this. I'm speaking to you. I don't need any notes. I just need to know what I'm going to talk about. And the words will flow naturally because I know what I'm trying to achieve. Okay. In the same way, this is how I've built the system that you're going to be able to learn, to own, to possess, and to have as a second nature in your own language. I've broken it down into phases. There's 4 phases in it. Okay. First one is set the call. Second one is stacking the pressure. Fourth one is shaping the future. Third one is shaping the future. And the fourth one is seal the deal. With those 4 phases, in each of them, there's more what I call dominoes that will be toppled one after the other to get you to close your deal as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible, whilst building trust, whilst building rapport, whilst getting the deal done where the other side feels that they are winning, they've gained something from the conversation, even if they are not to move forward with you. But also when you close the deal, you will not get refunds, right? Because I've seen too many people pushing through those scripts and getting the deal done and feeling great about it just to get refunds later on because they did not build a connection. Okay, that's another key point as well. Many sales trainers will tell you to build rapport. Maybe we've all heard, the Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. You need to build rapport. And people think building rapport means at the start of the call, you need to ask them where they are born, where they live, how's the weather, how's their dog, right? But this is not building rapport, guys. This is just small talk that doesn't do anything for you. It just wastes more time for you. By the way, because at some point I had 8 to 10 calls booked on my calendar, I had to find ways to reduce the time I was on calls, to save my energy, to save my time, to make myself, still feel good about selling, right? So with those dominoes, the way I've set them up, they will save you time. Like I said, I've closed deals in 20 minutes, $10,000 closed in 20 minutes, guys. And I've got the receipts. At some point, I will be sharing some of those real life recordings that you can see, and I'm going to share with you how I was doing it because I want you to understand what's going on. I don't want you to just copy and paste and see whether it works. Okay, so coming back to my story, one key thing I learned was one of my mentors said, Nicholas, people buy with emotions, so make them feel. And this is where I realized the emotional game is such an important one, especially if you want to close big deals. Okay, but hopefully that gives you an idea, an overview as to how I built the system and why for me this system was important. Because at some point in my career, I was taking so many calls a day. I was dreading waking up in the morning to take calls. I was like, is there going to be another one of those, right? Where I have to go through a script and I didn't know what to say. And I had to read again and I had to go again. And I could feel that the other side, the prospect, felt really weird about those conversations. So I didn't want that. So I built my own system, which now I get to share with you guys. And I have to say, right, the systems I'm going to share with you has been tested over hundreds of calls, thousands of calls, and with $2 million in deals. Maybe a bit less because some of the one I was still learning, right? But I've mastered it now, where now you're getting something that I've also shared with my own clients. And right now, this is quite new, by the way, me teaching and offering this to other people. So I've got 3 one-on-one clients. I've just got a 4th one now. And all of them have got 10 times, 20 times, even 50 times the value they paid me. One of them closed 100K in deals, another 500K, another one massive deals. And they all felt confident, calm, and more powerful on the calls because they knew what they were doing. So that's my aim for you. That's my goal to help you do. Just to give you a quick background on one-on-ones, if you want to get quick results, this is what one-on-one will do for you. But more importantly, book a call to see if the one-on-ones can work for you. Only if you've got consistent leads coming through, guys, and you know you can close deals with my help, because I know my main goal is always to make sure you get your money back within a month or two. And then from there, it's all pure profit. That's how I work, okay? But if you've got the investment on the side and you know this is going to get you faster results, also book a call. And by the way, I do want to speak to as many people as I can. So if you're coming in and you want to know how I can help you faster with the training we have, the link will be on the community page. You'll see on the right hand side. Let me show you quickly. Do book a call so I can see how best I can share where to find the information. The link is here. Just book a call and then we can have call and see if one-on-one makes sense, or maybe I can just share with you which training you should do first. Okay. Now, continuing with my story, after I've mastered this skill, like I said, within 6 months of mastering this, I was able to close $1 million in 6 months, and I closed another $1 million a few months later. But more importantly, guys, this is a skill that I was able to use outside of sales calls. I used it in conversations to close a lady for a company that I acquired, which was generating multiple six figures. I closed it for no money down, guys. This is how powerful it is. And this is where, when you use the emotional game, you can achieve that. But more importantly, once I bought the company, I was able to keep using my selling skills, my influence ability, to double the company in 18 months and then triple it a bit later, and also turn it into a very profitable company. Okay, so now my goal is to help more people, but I'm still doing my business stuff. So this is a passion project. That's why I'm happy to share this for free. And this is why I don't take that many one-on-ones. But, you know, if there's too much demand, I might turn into a group coaching. It's not there yet. But in terms of one-on-one, I'm still excited to do one-on-ones. I want to get more case study. I want to get more of those 100K, 50, 500K. Or to be honest, even if you were to close a few 10,000 deals, that would make me happy, because that would already cover the costs, but a lot more. Okay. And that takes you to a place where you can do better in your business, add more value to your clients and to the people around you. With the same skill, by the way, guys, I was also able to help one of my cousins to kind of change her mindset as to potentially not finishing her studies to now being really, really good and getting first at universities. So this is how powerful this is. This could help you also to help your kids to go to bed early, help them to eat their veggies, do their homeworks, all of those good things, by letting them feel they took control, which they did, by the way, and have a choice. My philosophy around this whole idea of sales is, by the way, you can write this down. This is a quote, and you will hear me talk about these quotes. And there's a few quotes I love to talk about a lot. First one is, whatever you say means something. Whatever they say means everything. So whatever I'm saying to you right now, my goal is not to force you to think the way I think, but my goal is to help you to question the way you think, to maybe give you a better option, a better choice. In the same way, I teach in more detail, by the way, guys, in my Duty to Sell challenge, right? I've shared it a few times. You surely should know by now what it is. So go and find the Duty to Sell challenge. If you're not doing it yet, go and do it. Take action, do the exercises. I promise you, you will thank me later. And yeah, that's it for the story, by the way. This is how I had to build the anti-closing, the anti-script closing system. And by the way, the more I'm using meta ads, the more I'm seeing that more and more people are feeling really nervous, weird, not wanting to take sales conversations. That's the reason why as well. In addition to the inner game, which is the Duty to Sell challenge, they also don't know what to say, or maybe they've got the wrong training by trying to use a script that wasn't aligned with them. Okay, So yeah, that's the story, guys, how I had to build this, and I look forward to the next training where I'm going to go in more detail now. I'm going to start with sharing with you each phase of the system, and with each phase, things will start to make more sense, how you can use that in your own sales conversations, hopefully today, and get results as quickly as possible. And the way I teach, guys, you will see me drilling and explaining the same things from different angles, because I know you will learn it and you will see new things every single time. That's one. Two, I love to teach you in principles, because I want you to then understand why you're doing it and why it works, which means then you can create your own strategies, your own tactics, and create your own questions and script, which then makes it your own and more powerful than it could ever be for yourself. It will be more congruent. This is how my clients feel confident, calm, and excited for sales conversation. And this is why one of my clients, Ravinder, she said she used to dread sales calls, but now she actually goes and have a cup of tea because she's so calm and confident. She just goes and roll into those conversations and close big deals. Okay, which is of course the most important thing, getting you results. All right, guys, that's it from me, and I'll speak to you later.